Hey everyone, this is Justice Watchers by Defenders Coalition. Defenders Coalition is an organization that works with human rights defenders for protection, safety, and security in Kenya. And in this series, which is Justice Watchers, we are profiling human rights defenders who are at the forefront, demanding for our fundamental human rights, but also demanding for accountability. And today we have the pleasure of speaking to one, Willie Weber, who is famous for his spoken word, but also that he has continuously used his gifts and talents to foreground issues that his communities deal with, but also generally Kenyan. Asante sana, Willie, for coming.
Thank you so much.
It would be lovely if you introduce yourself. I know you have a lot of awards.
Wow.
You're a Ford Fellow.
Wow.
A Global Ford Fellow, right?
Yeah.
And you also awarded a Human Rights Defenders Award.
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
It would be lovely to hear it from your mouth.
Wow. So Willie Weber is an expressionist. All I do is express myself. Then people call that poetry.
Uh-huh.
I'm a spoken word artist. I am a Ford Global Fellow class of 2024. Human Rights Defender of the Year 2021, awarded by the Defenders Coalition. Blaze winner 2017. East Africa Spoken Word Battle Champion.
You have a college on your name, sir.
Yeah, and recently I was awarded the Impact Pulse Award, a Pan-African Impact Influence of the Year 2024.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, I mean, well, you are well, you have medals and I'm sure you've earned them. But tell me, how does a spoken word artist get into human rights and get in human rights this well?
Well, initially it was very hard, generally, to merge art into human rights and defending human rights, because people thought arts and spoken word is for entertainment. So spoken word as a craft, now away from generally arts, had been abandoned. We used to go to shows and then we would perform, people pray, and then the show sasa ndo inaanza. But essentially...
Oh, like nyinyi ni periphery for your sides.
Yeah. But the idea is to change how people view and feel the art of words.
Yeah.
Because, word is very powerful. And spoken word is just, it's a rap without the rhythm. So we tell it as it is. And we want more people to come and more upcoming artists to do spoken word and pour their heart out as they mirror what happens in the society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I was reading when I was reading your bio is that you had an experience with police in 2017.
Yeah.
How can you speak to us how this, and I say police meaning police excesses.
Yeah.
How has this shaped how you do your work, but also how you experience, how you walk around as an artist, but also a human rights defender?
Wow. Particularly in 2017, 21st January 2017, I was almost shot for mistaken identity. So back in Nakuru, there's a gang called Confirm Gang. They started the trend, I've sent you money, please send it back. It started in Nakuru.
Wow, you know that.
Yeah.
Na venye wametuhangaisha.
So, and then Safaricom wakaeka measures, stringent measures.
Yeah.
So they started mugging people in 2017. It was very bad. And everyone who had dreadlocks back then in Nakuru, ukiwa Dame, Charlie, they used to shave people.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And in 2016, December 30th, kulikuwa na war in Nakuru. The gangs were fighting. Okay. And then they used to offboard people from matatus and shave people. Our Hesi wa Dandora, they came to Nakuru. So this time...
What do you mean?
Yeah, it was very bad.
Yeah.
It was very bad. We had 13 youths were killed. Gang fights, gang wars.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so we had confirmed gang, every, in Nakuru there's Kivumbini. We had a confirmed gang there in wengine wanajita wa Tanzania, in a place called Kaptembwa. It was that bad. London, they had their own gangs. So the ugliest faces of dreadlocks is baby locks. So in 2017, I was in my baby lock era, and I was almost killed for mistaken identity. And before that, I wasn't using poetry intentionally for social change.
Okay.
But they say when a gun is put on your head, at that moment, your whole life flashes in front of your eyes. And if they don't kill you yet, then you live as a man who has nothing to lose.
I think you just give us lines.
That is when I started using poetry and spoken word. Because actually I texted Boniface Mwangi on Twitter because someone captured the whole ordeal. So they put a gun on my head. I hit the gun. It went to the road. Then the ladies, I love ladies. They'll go to heaven, straight to heaven. They
Wow.
started shouting the mama's apple. And then the police took off. They left the gun hapo.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it was very crazy.
It was a weird, it was a dangerous ordeal.
Dangerous because they had plain clothes. So I had the whole video. I sent it to Boni, but he saw it way later. And then I asked myself, I'm always doing pieces on entertainment. So let me do something on social justice because this is what happens to youths on a daily. Yeah.
Basis. So you talk about your own experience and how that fueled your journey to use spoken word for social justice or just generally justice.
Yeah.
In a field, because I mean, now most of us are active citizens as Kenyans, but in a field where most spoken word artists, I would say prefer personal branding. You have chosen to deal with systems and power head on.
Yeah.
What's the personal price that you pay?
Wow. Too heavy. Sometimes you're too hot for the government. You don't get government gigs. Sometimes you're too hot for private entities. Sometimes you're even too hot for the civil society.
For the human rights defenders, organizations themselves.
Yeah, depending on what you say, how you say it, and when you say it. So the price is that it's not lucrative. It's very hard, and people have fallen off from using art for social change because it's simply so hard to earn a living from doing art for social change.
Yeah,
and
we see it as entertainment. Just we don't feel the need to pay for it.
Exactly,
or we don't see it as effort.
Exactly, exactly, and very good spoken word artists. Like my friend Teardrops. He wrote just recently. He's done with poetry.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, and he said because he started doing poetry so that he could entertain himself for the fun of it and entertain his fans. But he feels like there's no space right now for that. And poetry has been merged with activism, and he has made so many enemies. And you cannot live off that. So that is the challenge. That is the challenge majorly.
Yeah. I want us to get to the problems of how do we, find spaces that support artists, whether they're spoken word artists or just generally artists who delve in the political narratives, because that makes it dangerous, but it's also hard to earn from, especially now.
Yeah.
But I think it would be nice, because I don't think everyone understands what's the role of art in political change.
True.
Could you just, break it down for someone who's wondering? Lakini si ni picha tu. Si unasema tu majina.
Yes, art is the language of the soul.
Yeah.
Art speaks to the soul as we have words, the body. Art is majorly how most of the times it makes you feel. Be it kukuagitate uende kwa street, or art is also therapy.
Yeah.
And literally we are standing on the shoulders of giants. Kina King Kaka, kina Eric Wanaina.
I like that you're wearing this.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm always giving my
homage.
Give them their flowers. And they have set the agenda. And like you saw, July 25th, not 25th, in July we had massive demonstrations.
Yeah.
And it's a conversation that had been set through art since way back.
That's true.
From days za Inchi ya Kitu Kidogo to Utawala by Juliani to King Kaka, Wajinga Nyinyi.
Yeah.
And when we also did Wajinga Nyinyi with King Kaka. And when we did it, people were telling me at that time, hey, stop cloud chasing bana. Just do art kama wase wengine. And in 2021, in 2020, I did an album that had pieces like Dear Mr. President, Dear Mr. Deputy President, and I talked about these issues that are happening right now. And I had backlash even from like closest people, because they were telling me there's no need. Art is for entertainment. Stop mixing art
and politics.
Yeah. But art sets the conversation. It sets the agenda. And I said yesterday, poets are modern day prophets. listen to them or perish.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
like
a
the way
threat.
you keep giving us lines in the middle of the episodes.
Yeah, so art sets the conversation, just like the fourth estate, and also art mirrors what is happening in the society. And there's a very thin line between an artist being a leader of the society and the reflection of the society. So you have to position yourself in a way that you also give solutions. So, and not the book of lamentations.
Yeah.
And when you wield the power that comes with art, that is soft power. So when you have soft power, people presume you have more than you do. So you also have to act in ways that will hold that power. And that is also through mentorship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like that you say that. I wanted us to talk about, have you had to censor yourself in your art? But because you alluded on the conversation of mentorship, let's first go there.
Okay.
Where, as you said, art has been used from the first liberation against colonialists, the second liberation to multipartism.
Yeah.
We have songs that we sing as Kenyans that remind us of our political milestones.
Yeah.
We have poetry, we have writers, or name them.
Yeah.
But there seems to be a lapse in terms of mentorship, but also gatekeeping by older generation around arts in terms of the people who actually benefit from it. Yet, in terms of political education, especially grassroots artists, do the heavy lifting.
Exactly.
Please speak into this.
The issue has been for the longest time, it's very hard to institutionalize art. And we have very passionate artists who are not clear on monetizing their art, are not clear on institutionalizing their art. So we have intermediaries who are gatekeeping, but wanakulia craftsmanship na passion ya artist, but they don't represent the interest of the artist. So many times you'll find in between an artist and the art, kuna mtu mwenye anawaambia mimi ndio nawarepresent kwa corporates. Exactly. So the gatekeepers ni mabroker wengi sana. Even in this space, in the civil society, we have so many middlemen and middle women.
Middle persons.
Middle persons. I have to be clear. Nisikue cancelled wewe.
History ya cancel tunakam digital spaces.
Who are there but don't represent the interest of the art. Wakomboka in short time. So the very passionate artists uko chini watapata gigs hapa na pale za 10K, wakienda sana 50K, but once in a while, and then they'll find something else to do. So we don't have structures that elevates our arts to a place where tunaweza sema they can live off that and they can make change. Because again, story ya censorship vile ulikuwa umesema, whoever feeds you controls you.
This is true.
So if you just have so much for the day, you cannot be vocal, you cannot be an independent thinker, and art is freedom. So you have to play to their tunes. You have to choose one. Either you die of hunger, or
and it's a hard choice to make.
Exactly.
Especially when your own survival is pegged on it. And that is a place where especially young artists find themselves in, right? You almost have to compromise for you to eat, which dilutes your message and of course makes your followers mistrust you.
Exactly.
Now, go ahead.
And also when the money comes in. So the problem is monetizing that art. Also, the problem is when the money comes in, because when we started, passion was everything.
The currency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now the issue is when you get paid to do what you love.
Yeah, meaning that someone controls the end products and how it comes.
Exactly.
The conversation around, we had started when we were sitting there for lunch, we had started a conversation around digital spaces and how it has influenced your work, but also how in the rise of, active citizenship as Kenyans, you're finding yourself existing in contradictions, in terms of you want to exist as because you're politically aware and you've done the political work, but yet sometimes you find yourselves having to having to collaborate with people who do not necessarily have the same political standing with you, whether it's matters of gender, whether it's matters of just generally political awareness. I don't want to delve into the
the
intersections.
specificity.
In the intersections, because because I'll be preempting you with the recent work that you're doing. But please speak on it.
It's very hard, and it's like, and right now the rage is on, and they say you cannot destroy energy; it just morphs. You cannot destroy the energy; it goes into other forms.
Yeah,
and I think people now are very much raging, and with the work that we do, it's like you're walking on eggshells. You have to be very correct at all times, and I don't think it's right. We have to create
a burden you don't want to carry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. From all sides, from the government, from the people, from So you just have to pray for discernment, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not buying this answer. We had an extensive discussion, and if you want me to pull it out, I will.
You have to pick your struggles.
Yeah,
and you have to know what it has to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
If you're collaborating, you have to be very intentional. You have to do your background. You have to pick your struggle to know if you want to fight someone else's fight, or because if right now I am supposed to amplify on your behalf, but you cannot give me an ear because I have dreadlocks. Then I'll have to maybe do a turban if you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Even the Bible says if hii hand ikifanya usin, you chop it off. It was not talking about hands. So sometimes you have to compromise.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're doing collaborations for a greater cause. But if it will damage more than it will do good, you have to cut off some collaborations.
Yeah, and you know what, Willie, I'll have this conversation on your behalf.
Okay.
Because I do not want you to be cancelled. So, and I think it's the conversation about, and you know, we have this conversation in many spaces.
Yeah.
How in the light of digital activism in Kenya, we needed all hands for the revolution, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it also meant that the people, we had celebrities turn into activists.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But the question that we were asking ourselves as part of the group we were discussing in terms of plenary was, how then do you stand on the politics that you believe in?
Yeah.
Because for most of us, the question of, there were people who were able to mobilize in digital spaces very well.
Yeah.
But it also meant that they stood for other quote-unquote evils, such as misogyny, you know, toxic masculinity. And while we understand that all hands were needed for the revolution, it's that we can't also be blind to the damage that comes with taking things, how do you say, collectively? There's a Swahili word, kuchua kila kitu wholesale.
Kuweka kila kitu pamoja.
We can't do that.
So,
as a man who exists in you know, the space of art, but also you've gained a lot of momentum in terms of your work. How do you walk aware of some of these intersections, and how are you not pulled into, you know, the rise of toxic masculinity, which takes away from other things that you believe in? And I'm sorry if you feel like I have put you on the...
No. One of my major beats is gender mainstreaming, because I've been raised by a single mom, and I've seen the struggles our beautiful moms go through, more so when they have so many children, and then when they're now supposed to enjoy the good life, incomes, pressures of life like blood pressure and arthritis and stroke. So I understand, and when you said, when the protest started, like, we didn't look at who stands for what. And I think now things have calmed down kidogo, and we are in the part where in a revolution of the mindset, and the people are now still gathering momentum for protests. And right now watu wamerudi back, wanaangalia, by the way, ulikuwa una stand for nini before hata hizi protests zianze. Because when protests zilikuwa zinaendelea, everyone, we were a collective, the celebrities, wase wenye wanaimba ngoma zozote mpaka zenye zina promote things that are not our values, because everyone was focused on reject finance bill.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point whereby you have unakimbia sana, but you have to
take a moment to reflect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see where this is going. Because tunaweza toa a regime based on certain values, lacking values, na tuweke another regime enye iko na problems zake pia.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the things that people have to be aware in terms of when we are saying what's next in terms of all the momentum.
Yeah.
Is that we have to be aware of that.
Yeah. Hiyo swali nimejibu vizuri.
Ni kama umejaribu. ni kama umejaribu. Sasa, in terms of advocacy, in terms of evolution of advocacy and social justice goals, wewe kama mtu evolve, but how do you see the space evolving in terms of use of arts?
Wow. The collective conscience as a nation has been pricked. And I believe art may play a major role in that. Because art imetumika vile tumesema agenda set and keep the conversations going. You know, initially, tukifanya Dear Mr. President, watu walikuwa wanashtuka bana. 2019, unafanya aje ati the sitting president is now sleeping. He's sipping. Unafanya aje hiyo? And exactly. And now people now they are aware and have embraced now that you can respectfully speak truth to power. And art imetumika kama one of the ways where you can talk to people, you can lead people, you can reflect what is happening. Unaweza channel so much rage pia through art.
That's true.
Yeah.
What's your advice to a young aspiring
artists? Wow. You can never have everything, nor the excuse of not having them. So use what you have at the moment. Like when we started, we used to, even right now, we shoot videos sometimes using our phones. Sometimes tunaingia studio. People look at artists wale wenye wameendelea sana in terms of producers. Uko na ngoma kali, wewe unataka uende uproduce tu na the most known producer, maybe Sedo. Like, use what you have. Kama kuna a dope producer in your neighborhood, na hata julikani, use that. Just get yourself started and you'll get there. It is a process. We are not where we want to be, but we have to respect the fact that we're not where we used to be.
That's true.
And this is a long game. We also have to respect the fact that consistency is the only thing failure can keep up with. So even if what you're doing
I
is
feel
not...
like I have to be very alert when you're speaking, because I'm like, you have the best lines as we speak in this conversation.
Wow. Yeah. So as you're consistent, even if you think your work is not good enough, nature has a way of rewarding the most consistent people, even if they're not the dopest.
Oh, this is true. This is true. And that remains in every field. Tell me, before we end the conversation, what's, in terms of financing models for HRDs, I feel like the people who do art are sometimes seen as a periphery.
Yeah.
How do we change or shift the financing models for HRDs so that human rights defenders that use art are also part and parcel, or at the core of it, other than, because most of the times it looks like lawyers dominate, and then nyinyi wengine hii pesa imebaki, mnaweza fanya show moja mambili.
Na huwa wanafikiria tu show.
You know, that's
concert,
the language.
One day.
Concerts, you know.
Exactly. And then hata mtu mwenye ako kwa finance akikulipa 50k anashindwa, nalipaje 50k for 5 minutes. 5 minutes manze, hata miss patangi na day.
So that's true. Yeah, that's true.
And
Those are the attitudes.
But most people say artists are very entitled.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I guess it comes from the place because the work does not look like it should count.
Yeah.
So it's almost belittled.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not realizing it's the effort, but it's how masses are made conscious. It's political education in itself.
Yeah. So to all donors, funders, policymakers in this space, the future of activism. Sorry, I'm so used to activism bias. The future of activism is in activism.
The future of activism is in activism.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an art for social change because art is a language of the heart. And as we saw during the Gen Z protests, I don't like calling them Gen Z protests because that word was used.
Alienates.
Exactly. Yeah. So during the protests, art played a major role. I mean, people took hata mangoma zenye zikuwa za maandamano wakafanya zikuwa about the struggle. Kama anguka nayo.
People having a ball.
Exactly. So we need to invest in our arts. We need to invest in our artists.
That's true.
Other ecosystems, and like in the US, we have people who have invested in their artists. Mimi nikitoka hapa nje, it is a societal problem. Nikitoka hapa nje, watu wataniambia, Willie, tuachie, but ukienda huko nje kama Tanzania, wao ndio wanapea artist. Wanakuambia, badhi umekula.
That's a whole culture shift that we need to have.
We need to have a culture shift because the same people that want to make policies, it's the same people wenye tumegrow now kwa society.
That's true.
Ndio wanaenda kwa the top people kule juu.
That's true.
Yeah.
What's the project that we should look forward from you?
Wow. So Willie Oyeba is celebrating, marking rather. Do I have so many things to celebrate? I'm marking. Not so sure, but Mungu anasaidia. I'm marking 10 years.
It's a mixed celebration.
10 years as a spoken word artist.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I have an event on the 12th of December. You told me you're coming.
I am coming.
Thank you. We'll hold that. So 12th December at the Kenya National Theatre. I'm also releasing my album. It's called Yellow Paper Bag. So my mom used to be a hawker back in the day, and she got a stroke in 2013.
Sorry to hear.
A mild stroke. So she had 3 strokes, by the way.
Sorry to hear.
But in 2013 it was very severe. But in like 2 years she was okay, and she went back to hawking.
Oh wow!
and we were telling her, wewe acha bana. She used to use like 20 minutes kutembea distance and unaweza tembea in like 2-3 minutes, but she used to like keep going. But right now I'm a chill, mwambia atulie, and that is one of the things that inspired me, like even through resilience. Resilience is not a good thing. You might be dying ukisema uko resilient, but resilience and the strength of a woman and the power of one that has kept me going in even consistently. Because now using art for social change 10 years, it's something.
You've been going for a while.
Yeah. So I'm releasing that album. It's called Yellow Paper Bag. It's a musical, spoken word. And I'm also giving women their flowers.
Oh, thank you. We shall come and receive them.
Yeah, because we need to channel more art. We need to speak more. We need to give people hope.
Especially in the year where people have had to censor themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for coming to this podcast. Unless you have any other final words. Do you have any other final words?
Pesa ya kisima waliiba, and that's the damn truth. Sudden death is viewed kama spoiled votes. That's the sad truth. Hakuna food, shelter, matter, clothing. Now that's the naked truth. Mayouth hawana fare kwenda job interview. Politician kenye namsumbua ni mafuta ya ndege. That's the plain truth. Life ain't easy. That's the hard truth. It's not about sagging. Drugs then create my wasted youth. inchi mashef hawezi afford ile food wana cook. Domoptician wanalipwa hawezi atapiga look. Kill sin to see God atamtoe tithe aje ticket ya heaven inunuliwe my mook. Itakuwaje cry za tajiri ni intellectual lakini cry za maskini kwa masikio justice ni kelele. Itakuwaje una believe in me na nikicheza kimimi mnashikwa na kiwewe. Itakuwaje unaninyima opportunity ya kupata kazi lakini kwa club unataka nipewe. Na effect ya nguvu ya thao inafika malinduru ya mnyonge iwezi fika. Ballot box na DSTV zinafika malidisha iwezi fika. Watoto wanalala njaa juu ulikunywa na pesa ya kula na vizuri unajua pombe iwezi lika. Wanasiasa wanadanganya na uchumi imekuwa mbaya mpaka ukisaidia rafiki yako pesa yako unapoteza rafiki yako na pesa yako. Yani uchumi imekuwa mbaya, watu wa piercing tu ndio wanatoboa. Hakuna kenye ina move, hata wasusi ya wasongi. Uchumi imekuwa mbaya mpaka ukifanya mabaya malipo si hapa hapa. Jesus alibetrayiwa na kiss. Uko hapo unajichocha juu ulipewa hug. Wajinga nyinyi. When you youth depressed una kazi na serikali inapea kazi wenye wanafaa wawe retirement. Sombono na tense na hata mood ya worry. Yes, let's keep writing, let's keep inspiring, because if we stop writing, then what happens to people who cannot hold the pen?
Willie Werber, thank you so much for coming to this podcast.
Asante.
It's been real. I have enjoyed myself.
Asante.
Especially the last part.
Wow.
Thank you for coming and thank you for the work that you do. I hope your mom gets better.
Wow.
Sending you strength and we're coming for your gig.
Yeah, 12th December.
Tunakam.
Asante.
Asante. This has been Justice Watchers. And please leave us your comments, share, and look out for Willie on his social platforms. Asante.
Asante.